Welcome to another episode of the True Beast Podcast, brought to you by xdog.com, where you can find the world's greatest health enhancement harness for dogs, the X-Dog Fitness Vest. Exercising your dog has never been easier or more effective than with the X-Dog Fitness Vest. But it's more than just a fitness vest. It's an anxiety vest. It can help you address behavior issues. So if you're looking to level up your dog's life or enhance its overall health, be sure to check out xdog.com. And we're on episode 55.
There we go.
That is
and
right.
Today we're going to be talking about, that wonderful thing that happens in a lot of people's lives. It's called plateauing and complacency.
Yeah.
So the year started. We're going into literally June.
Yeah.
This is June, right?
Yeah.
What month is June? Is
June 1st, man.
Yeah. It's 6 or 7? Which one is it? It's 6. Holy shit. Half the year's gone. People, 2022 was 6 months ago. It started. And everybody was excited, right? What changed?
Yeah.
What do you do when your energy starts depleting? Midway through the year, to be clear.
I look at myself. I'm aware of that now, though.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot. The problem is when you're not aware of it. You know, like I'm very consciously aware of it. So once I feel like I'm plateauing or I feel like my energy levels are not where they need to be, I look at myself first. I go, how's my diet? Am I exercising daily? What are my habits looking like?
Keyword is feel, though, too. So talk a little bit about the things you do. Like, for instance, when you feel like you're getting off track, feel is like you created a routine, right?
Yeah.
And when you miss a step in your routine, you're like, we got a problem here. I didn't eat at this time. I didn't work out today. I didn't do, like, those are the things. Because feelings, they're fickle.
Yeah.
You know, it could be problematic, and if we do everything based on how we feel, then nothing really ever gets done because we can live and die in our emotions.
Yeah.
So when you're like, hey, I don't want to plateau. I've got a business. I've got employees. I've got this dream. I've got, these goals, to say the least. What's the biggest goal you have here? Because I know that prevents you from plateauing as well.
I mean, my biggest goal is to make sure that the X-Dog vest is in every household that has a dog. Like, that's my big vision and dream for this product, right? Like, for example, this morning, I woke up at 3 a.m. and I wrote a whole business plan for 2 hours on what we're going to do to lay out the website.
Yeah.
You know, and then how we're going to optimize all our listings on Amazon. You know, I saw Amazon catch a plateau and the numbers are every 30 days. And that kind of, I was like, we need to be growing. Yeah. So if we're not growing, we got to make a pivot. And so I was consciously aware of it. And now I'm making the moves to make sure that we don't plateau and actually go under. And
you talked to us a little bit about hijacking, and we did the numbers last week too.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, people, that's someone who's super focused, if you would, on the numbers. They don't lie. You've literally shown me the sales. I've heard the chain go off. You walked me through and give me the opportunity to see what's going on behind the scenes, specifically when something goes through at X-Dog, right?
Yeah.
So when those chings stop, ching, 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 that machine go off, you go, something's wrong here.
Yeah.
Because you've also done projections, right?
Yeah.
So
every month.
Then the question I would ask about, what do you project for your life? Because a lot of times people are like, man, life has gotten a little sterile. A little stale.
Yeah.
Well, what's the goal?
I mean, being happy, happiness is the goal, and just being happy is the goal, like things are uniquely going in a really good direction right now, like in a lot of areas of my life. But at the end of the day, just being happy. I don't want to be rich and miserable. I don't want to be miserable. Who the fuck wants to be miserable? I just want to be happy. I want to walk through life with an amazing perspective on everything, like I think we put a lot of value into things that we shouldn't.
I agree, man. You think about the people who basically make it,
and
then they get a drug addiction or this addiction, that addiction. Is because they didn't make it. They got money and they don't have a goal.
Yeah,
and to make it is to make something more for yourself and others. And then you keep inventing, creating, finding ways to continue to improve the status quo. So I know you're on version 4 of the X-Dog vest. How many versions do you think you're going to go? Because, again, you could have stopped at 1. Could have stopped at 3.
Yeah.
Could have stopped at 2.
Yeah. As many versions as it takes to stay on top. You know, like whatever, if we can do one minor little 1% thing that's going to change a dog's life in a positive direction, we're going to make that pivot and do that and make that adjustment. There's some things that I see in the version 3 that we ran into when we went and tested out the drag bag and had you test out the resistance band. And I was like, we got to make a pivot there. There's some adjustments. There's some other features that I feel like we can do with the vest to improve it, aesthetically too. I think there's some things that might attract you know, a different type of audience as far as like depending on the type of patterns, or, you know, like the everyday dog owner may want some backpack features, and there's just a lot of different features. We talked about the other day where it's like there's certain things when you purchase an item that don't automatically come with it. I think we give away a lot of value, you know.
There you go.
And so that might be another pivot where, you know, like some people may not want those additional features, you know, and maybe just the vest alone fits in their budget.
I see. And when you say budget, I tell people this, and I said this kind of rubs somebody the wrong way, but they were like, well, I just can't afford to do this. I said, don't get a dog.
Dude, like how many times have we broken this down, Jamarcus, where it's like, if you get an X-Dog vest, the version 3, probably on average, if you take care of it and you're not Trevor, right? Like the average person, right? Like that's somebody who fucking takes their dogs out to the rivers, the lakes, goes hiking every day. Like, you test the product you take the product to the limits, right?
Trying to pull cars.
Yeah, like
pull that truck,
which is good. You got to test it. But let's say the average dog owner, right?
Yeah.
That vest is going to last you 3 or 4 years, right?
At least. And when he had the plastic clips, people, I still have my version 1 from 5 years ago. It still worked. And mind you, I had a bully who wasn't like going nuts.
Yeah.
So just putting him in there, got some good weight in there. He did. I mean, it works still to this day. So
yeah. And so, I mean, when you do the numbers on what you invest into the vest, it's literally can be, if you're talking 4 years, it's like 8 to 7 cents a day, depending on the size.
Yeah.
You know, like if that's not worth increasing your dog's health, then, you know, like, what do you want us to do?
So let's talk about some things that you do on a daily or throughout over the couple of years that you've done to make sure that you continue to progress. And you know, plateau in itself, it's kind of like a boring word, but in the gym world, everybody says, "Man, how do I plateaued?" And I'm like, "Let me see something real quick." And they show me. I'm going, "You didn't plateau. Your joints got a limitation, my guy.
Yeah.
You're not really using your muscles. You're using your joints. So no wonder you can't increase your weight, your bench, your squat, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You've compromised your form, and compromising can be good at times, specifically if you're in relationships, but I have a challenge, if you would, compromising personally, especially when it comes to quality and integrity.
Well, for me, I'm in the growing stage, right?
Yeah.
And so like I don't like, I haven't plateaued. So, you know, when it comes to this, and it's one of those things where I have enough products and I can create enough challenges for myself, you know, and I take enough risks to put pressure on myself. Yeah. And so it's like, you know, for example, I'm going to take a deeper dive into more social media platforms, like taking a real deep dive into YouTube.
Bro, I'm even looking into Twitch right now.
Yeah.
I saw some people get on Twitch, and I game. And I like game a little bit, but like I buy the games and I kill them, and then I just put it like the Kiss Collect does. But I used to buy a PlayStation every time Uncharted came out, because that's one of the best games in the world, to be clear, if you're an RPG person. So I'm like, dude, these people on here building a community, I can fucking game too. Like, I literally destroy games in like 72 hours.
Imagine this. Imagine if you're a gamer, right? And you're sitting at your house, and on average, how long does somebody sit down and play a game?
Man, stop it. You don't want to know that motherfuckers is playing 12 hours, bro.
Listen, and Jamarcus, you know, someone like you.
He got a brother. He got a brother that does it.
My brother, bro, 24/7. He goes to work and comes home and clocks in on that game and does not get off until he goes back to work.
Now imagine being a dog owner, right? And you just have that guilt where you didn't exercise your dog right that day because just the dopamine drops and the endorphins of playing that video game. It's just kind of distracted you with the quality time that you should have been spending with your dog. Mm-hmm. But now you have a solution. You got 30 seconds a day. Right, you can go to the refrigerator, grab yourself a drink, throw the X-Dog vest on your dog, and then you don't have to have those guilt trips as being a gamer, not exercising your dog.
You know, I think so many people justify that, though. Mm-hmm. You know, guilt, that is.
Yeah.
Like, how many people do you actually think feel guilty? We're unfortunately in a dog-eat-dog world right now. And it seems to be and again, I'm not blaming anything on anybody, but if you think about the housewives shows, and it's shows and television things that do something very specific, and that's we watch people throw people on the bus.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we grew up on, Step by Step, Family Matters, things that were like, how do we come together and take care of each other, right? Now it's a matter of, man, you fuck me over. Fuck you. I'm about to fuck you over. Everything's by design is based on getting ahead, and that's by any means necessary. So when you overlook your dog, some people get a dog just to have a dog, and they let it die in the backyard is what we say.
Yeah.
So the dog ends up plateauing as well, versus I know dogs, I've read 13-year-old pit bulls still pulling 5,000 pounds. Why? Because that's who he is.
Yeah.
And the owner clearly never let up.
Well, I did actually TikTok today where I said 5 tips on how to give your dog a lower quality life and shorten its lifespan.
Yeah.
You know, 1, free feed them. You know, buy some commercial kibble, throw it in a bowl, let them eat as much as they want. Don't even monitor it, because nothing creates a thriving, diseased environment than an inflamed system.
Absolutely.
Right. Number 2, don't exercise your dog. Right. I mean, there's only a laundry list of health benefits that are linked to it. Can lower the risk of disease, add years to your dog's life, improve behavior issues and mental health. 3, don't hire a fucking dog trainer. They're only going to help you solve problems, right? And be able to help communicate with your dog more efficiently, because nothing stresses out a dog worse than a fucking, what do you call it? A dog owner who is frustrated, you know? 4, complain about dog tools. Fuck a slap meal, you know? Yeah. Like, it's only going to help improve your dog's ability to exercise in a more efficient way. E-collars, prong collars. I mean, why would you want to communicate with your dog more efficiently? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, you use tools in every other aspect of your life. Everything that we're looking at right here is some form of tool, right? Yeah. And number 5 is invest all the time in the world that you possibly can on social media criticizing other dog owners and trainers, because the more time you're invested in doing that, the less time you're investing into your dog. And obviously the less time you invest into your relationship only weakens it. So,
and that's perspective, people. You know, we talked about it momentarily for a perspective in the previous episode, but most people don't take the opportunity to look at things from a positive way.
Also, too, here's another thing. This is the number one thing, too. I feel like if you feel like you're plateauing, look at who you're surrounded with.
That was gonna be my statement right there. Yep.
Because if you're surrounded by someone who's lethargic, chilling, here's the thing, and this is something that me and Cam, we talk about it, because she's right now, she's pregnant. She's got a lot of emotional hormones and stuff like that. But the other day, I got kind of caught up laying down in bed while we were watching TV. She's like, get up, we're going for a walk. Because she knows, but we have these conversations, you know, like me moving keeps her moving, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And vice versa. And so we became consciously aware of how our energies affect each other. So she's more aware and I'm more aware, and our relationship's a lot better, you know? But man, you get around some low energy people, negative people. As Bruce Lee said this like this, right? Don't even talk negative about yourself in a joking way, because your body doesn't know the difference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's a tough one right there. I like that. I never heard that.
Yeah. Your body doesn't know the difference. So.
I said this last night, though. I said, how you speak to yourself, you will become. You know, and that's the challenge, too. People speak negatively to themselves many times. And in my mind, I'm like, yo, what time is it? Okay, it's 6 o'clock. All right, we're about to go get Ego. Then we're going to turn around. I'm going to go take Tron out and test some things with him as well. And even when I put the drag back on my pup, I said, man, look at him thinking on how to get up that hill. He's dropped into his hips. He's actually using his muscles and thinking things through to make this happen.
So here's the thing. You're giving your dog a job, and that's why it comes back to mental health. You know, like a lot of things that dogs suffer from, like they suffer from depression. I mean, imagine having this genetic instinct to retrieve, or you have this genetic instinct to work, and your owner just free feeds you and lets you fucking lay on the couch all day, right?
It's so funny, because the guy's like, dude, my retriever keeps bringing me rabbits. I said, bro, he's a retriever. I said, he's like, he goes out and finds these rabbits, Trev. He's not finding them, bro. He needs something to do. So he's like, fuck, these rabbits are running. Might as well bring them back.
Yeah, there was a time last year where I walked in the house and I'm like, oh, goddamn, look at these big piles of shit, right? Like, it looked like giant turds. And I'm like, my dog's shit don't look like that. What ended up happening is my Cocker Spaniel. My Cocker Spaniel had found a rabbit laid babies, and she fucking grabbed 4 of them and put them all over the house. Just a natural instinct. So I had 4 baby rabbits in my house. They were dead. She murked them. She murked the shit out of them, but that's her instinct. She flushes. She's designed to flush, you know, birds, rabbits, you know, shit like that. That's what we do. So that's one of the things I like to do with her. Like, I'll throw the ex-dog vest on her, and then I will match her genetic instincts. Like she loves to be around me in the house. No matter where I'm at in the house or whoever has food, she's going to be around that individual. Most likely it's going to be me. I kind of trump food. But when we get out to the field, she goes wherever her nose will take her, you know, because that's her genetic instinct. So I said, cool, let's take advantage of this. Let's mentally satisfy her, and then let's get a health improving workout with it as well.
So people, let me tell you something. One of the things I always say at the end of my talks or videos or various things, I say, look, stay moving.
Yeah.
The rules are simple. How do you expect to improve? I love that you got up out of the bed, because we can then say, we can sit here all day.
Yeah.
We can.
Oh,
say,
you can.
Only time, like, that's what keeps me up at night, because I've done everything I'm supposed to do. So I might watch a series starting at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
But if it was like the daytime and I'm looking at the sun's up, there's no way in hell I could just sit there and not go do something at some point.
Yeah.
Now, I'm cognitive of the fact that, in Texas we got some heat, so you got to get out there a little bit later with the dogs, or up really early.
Yeah.
But most of the time between 7 and 12 a.m., I already have achieved the things that need to get done. And then from I'd say about 5:30 to 7, I go and do a little bit more.
Yeah.
But even in the business side, conversations, communications, relationships, what are some things people can do to ensure that they don't plateau in their personal relationships? And most importantly, starting with themselves.
Structure your day. Like there's no such, I don't know, man. Like they talk about work-life balance. I don't believe like it's virtually impossible to have work-life balance, you know, but I try to commit a certain amount of time towards my personal life, then a certain amount of time towards my career and goals, and then a certain amount of time. And part of my career and goals is to have a healthy family relationship and a family dynamic. So I invest time into that, and I'm just fortunate enough that I have a partner who's understanding.
So what's the one thing that you refuse to carry with you from your upbringing that has helped you continue to cultivate great relationships with people as well?
What is one of the things that from my upbringing, just being mediocre, being satisfied with mediocrity, like that's one thing that we kind of learned, like is, I go to therapy with me and Cam, we go to therapy, and what we realize, we do a lot of exercises, and what we realize is that we have very similar backgrounds. Like our fathers are alcoholics. They're in the military. Our mom, like my mom worked really hard. Her mom works pretty hard. They're both immigrants, right? But their mentality of what greatness is and what they wanted out of life, they grew up in an era where it's like you either go to school, go to college, get a job, work for someone else, or you go into the military. It's just one of those things where it's like, your parents can dramatically affect you, depending on their mindset and what they want. There's a lot of people, like, for example, if you're, there's a lot of different type of cultures where they have arranged marriages, it's like, you know what I mean? Like imagine being told who you're supposed to marry and who you're supposed to be with. So, or you grow up in a not so fortunate situation. And that's when the individuals, you'll see a difference between those who really have it and those who don't,
Let's take a pivot real quick and go ahead and announce. Give the question away.
Got you. The question. So,
is this for the contest?
This is the question from the X-Dog community for the contest.
Okay.
Yes, from Instagram.
So hold on a second. For those who don't know, we're on week 2, right?
Yep.
Where we're going to select a winner, and if we select your question and answer it, you're going to win an X-Dog version 3 camo vest with matching True Beast leash and collar.
There you go.
Boom. Here we go. So this comes from _Robert Bobby _06.
Okay.
At what age should we begin to reduce weight in the X-Dog vest as our dogs get older in hopes to prevent injuries?
Well, if you're using the X-Dog vest consistently, you shouldn't probably have to reduce weight as your dog gets older, right? Because when you think about it, we haven't gotten here. We're only like 5. We're going on our 5th year, right? Mm-hmm. Well, when you think about it, weight training is super important, especially when you get older, because it increases bone cell activity, right, which strengthen bones. This is why they tell older men and women, especially women who may be subjected to osteoporosis, to lift heavier when they get older, right, to stress out those bones in order to create bone cell activity, in order to strengthen the bones. If you've been utilizing the X-Dog vest all the way up, through certain years, your dog's muscles should be conditioned and the joint should be healthy enough to handle 10% of its max weight and 6% on high velocity training. I don't
know why people assume that a dog's just going to fall apart if the dog is like, it's like weight training in a sense. Mm-hmm. You see how good a 60-year-old individual's put together?
Dude, I saw this 60-year-old dime piece of a man, right? Like he was like chiseled. I thought I was like, he's got to be 40, right?
Yeah.
And it was on TikTok actually. He was like, this motherfucker is 60 years old, chiseled. And he's like, it's just like me, dude. I'm 40. I'm going to be 45 this year. I feel great. Mm-hmm. I live in the gym. I work out twice a day.
Say their name. We didn't get to hear their name.
Once again, at _Robert Bobby _06 from
Congratulations, man. That was a very good question.
Yeah.
And a question that we're going to find out in the long term. You know, that's the beauty about this product, man. Like, there's a lot of things we haven't discovered yet.
Yeah. Well, think about this way too, people. You start looking at the human anatomy and how it works, especially when you get older, especially when you talk about food, right? Food we ingest, it can increase risk for gout and various things that are kind of congenital in some regard, but foods and various environmental things bring out the worst in us.
Yeah, I think you have a great point on that. Like, and that raises another thing. You know, it's like, does the dog have a genetic inheritance of, you know, osteoarthritis or issues like you know, degenerative joint disease, you know, because or hip dysplasia, for example. Like, this product can help in certain ways, but at the same time, like, genetics are genetics, and you know, they did those again. I'm going to talk about the study about the beagles. And this is why a lot of this is why they believe that, like, those genetic disorders are related to bad breeding practices. And this is why hip testing and testing is really important now, to showcase the quality of your standards when it comes to your breeds. Right. And that's, they walk dogs, these beagles, 130% of their body mass. Remember, we only say 10%. They said 130%, 75 minutes a day on these treadmills, right? For fucking 10 years. And there was no joint issue, degenerative joint disease, or osteoporosis that was
Make
linked
sure
to
you
any
send
of it.
us a link to that so we can start linking some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing, you know.
And this was done by an orthopedic over in Europe.
You know, people, there's two ways. Someone, you know, let me justify this too. A lot of times we get caught up in looking at professionals. And someone says, well, you know, I'm not a professional. I said, yes, you are. A professional is someone who gives a shit. That's what it comes down to. If I give a shit and I go do the research and my dog's better than your dog at the end of the day, or an athlete was like, I found out what worked for me. Tom Brady stopped really using weights as he got older. If you guys wanted to go learn something, a 40-something-year-old guy stopped using weights. He took a holistic approach, more band stuff, and a lot of preventative care style of training when they thought he was washed up, and he still went and got 2-3 more rings after that.
Yeah.
And it's because it wasn't about the impact in being strong. Real strength, again, is defined by the muscle's activity or the way that it moves in its strength, if you would. And that's us walking. You know, can you walk strong?
Yeah.
And when you don't have the strength to support that knee, what happens? Now you start limping.
Yeah.
Got a back problem. You start leaning forward every time because you're like, I got to get some of this pressure off my back, right?
Yeah.
Everything starts hurting. But if you build good habits, and again, great nutrition matters.
Well, you talked about the 13-year-old pit bull is pulling 5K.
That's
you
it.
know,
Like that's who
5,000
he
pounds
is.
Yeah.
That's who he is. You say, and at that moment you realize a dog can do anything. And for me, in the fitness side, I realized plateauing, right?
Yeah.
You're thinking, how far can I push people? How I get to 1,000 reps or 100 reps? I saw a guy swimming across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
And they showed his heart compared to the average person's heart. And his heart was beating like a psychopath's heart.
Yeah.
But he had the condition. And there was a boat with him the whole time in case he needed to opt out. But he was like, I'm going to swim the Atlantic. And he did it.
Yeah.
But there was the condition, like you talked about. Build it up. Do not go out there and put 5 miles on your dog if your dog ain't walked one before.
Yeah, it has to become a lifestyle. And you got to think about this too, Jamarcus, is that, you know, daily exercise, there's just so many strong studies that has proven that it slows down the aging process of living cells. Yeah. And so, you know, what does that mean? It means it helps your dog age slower, not faster, you know? Yeah. And so we got to keep that in mind. So it's hard to say because it all depends on the owner and the lifestyle and the genetic. There's just too many factors.
Too many choices to be made. And, you know, I think one of the goals that we're going to help define moving forward is how to choose wisely.
Yeah.
How to choose wisely. And that's why, you know, I wanted to talk a little bit about plateauing because I know we jumped in to, you know, the next 50 episodes, if you would.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, as I told you, Jamarcus asked that question, like, you know, how long are you going to be on the True Beast podcast? I said, what do you mean, bro? And I even told him last night, I said, regardless, when you think about business, right? We're building some products. I said, if I had to go find even another manufacturer of the product, I said, Stan, who's over here, you know, I said, he still understands formulation. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
When you understand your job and your role, right?
Yeah.
I go and sell and build relationships. I can market and brand. That's what I could. Nobody's going to do me there. I said, the guy knows formulation. Ruben knows fucking science.
Well, that was a cool challenge though too, because I'm like, you know, like one, we ran into an issue where they had every ingredient except 2 ingredients. Then they want to, you know, like they want to increase your volume based off a kilo, you know, or less than a kilo, you know, a pound. But usually raw ingredients are purchased by kilos, you know, so I'm like, come on, man, you know. And then, you know, like, you know, we're talking about the formation. Most products you got a couple different different formulas, right? You got your capsules that can be liquid or powder.
Yeah.
You have your tablets, right? And so for example, liquid in capsules or powder capsules in general are about depending on the ingredients, about a 2-year shelf life, right? Your tablets are going to be a 3-year shelf life. You got your powder form, and you got just liquid. There's a bunch of different ways that you can distribute supplements. Yeah. And I know another thing too. Like again, environment is a big deal too on your dog's longevity, because when you think about it, man, like people think the reason why it's so important to supplement is because we've pretty much destroyed our land. Our soil is fucking trash.
Yeah, people go read about soil depletion, something I read about 10 years ago, and you realize very quickly that the vitamins, aka vitamins, minerals, and things that we would get from our greens and various things being grown, it's almost non-existent.
Yeah, we should be able to get it from Whole Foods, but you can't anymore. And you got to think about it, when it comes to dog food, those are the most used up land. Like when you look at like the ingredients in dog food, those are farmed, like heavily farmed area ingredients. Yeah. So, like supplementation is critically important. And if I was to suggest somebody to get into the business of the pet business, supplements is the way to go. You know?
It is. And again, you got to understand it. And I mean, there's some things that we're thinking through here that we're going to be able to, I think, develop to continue to better all dogs. Definitely our dogs. And my goal is it always starts at home. Yeah. It starts at home. What can I do to really improve my dog's quality of life? And that's why I'm here. Yeah. That's what, so even when he asked it, I was like, bro, I think he's on the cusp of something. And, I said, respectfully, I said, we all need each other in this case. Yeah. I said, he needs a second pair of eyes and just somebody with the same passion.
So for example, if we were to put this product out in a powder form, I could have it done. Yeah. But he wants it in a chew. Yeah. And so I'm like, fuck, okay. That's supposed to some challenges, It's a different game. Yeah. So depending on how you want it formulated, it's going to determine things.
Land this and all that stuff, and from a marketing standpoint, I'm thinking, what's better than giving your dog a treat? People love giving their dogs treats. So I'm like, powder, I don't like taking protein. Yeah. I don't want to put no scoop of no powder. I've never been into it. Yeah. But I'm like, I give my dog a treat every day. I'd give my dog a tab. I'd give my dog.
It's convenient.
There you go. That's good. And that's the part of any business that you got to like convenience. That 30 seconds of putting that vest on your dog and getting it to just walk around the house even. Yeah. Or putting it on while the dog's going outside, or being smart enough to put the cooling packs in the freezer and then putting those things in when your dog's about to do a little work outside. Yeah. It helps.
A trainer, a buddy of mine that I sent some vests out to, Go Train, he's got like 1.1 million followers on TikTok. He's out in, I think, Mesa, Arizona. He's like, dude, I didn't know these things had cooling packs in it. He's like, this is game changer for me out here, in Arizona.
It's 120 degrees in Arizona, people. I've been there, bro. I lived there. Right. It was rough. Yeah. It was rough. So again, are you doing 2 or 1 today?
We can do 2. Let's over deliver.
Good question.
Hit him with another good question.
There's another good question.
You might find some questions. We're going to do a bonus one. So here, there might be some questions in there that multiple people say. So you can maybe, if you see that, make it a universal question. Then maybe we can put it in the randomizer, and I'll go ahead and pump it out live.
Oh, you're good. So the next question actually comes from that.decoy.chick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there some underscores in there? Or is it
it's just straight?
Is that dot?
She's pretty dope, too. She's a badass.
Okay, you know her.
Yes. Yeah, she's a dope-ass she trains and competes, but she's a decoy. She's sick.
Shit.
Okay, boom. Well, to that point, what muscles do the V3 vests help build?
Well, all the vests would do the same thing as far as like the placement of the weights. But
or
go ahead.
The vest in general,
It just depends on what you're doing with the dog. Just about every area of the dog's muscles are going to be challenged, including the brain, the heart, every muscle,
I would say downhill, if you're like, for instance, I'm literally going to take my dogs at least once a week and walk up and down a hill. Just walk with the vest on. Once they get of age, I'm going to take one of the pups and drag the bag up the hill. Yeah. So you go, and every one of those positions actually hits a certain part of different muscles. Sure. Now, when your dog's arm is extended backwards, like the right arm might be reaching, the tricep is no longer engaged. Yeah. I've literally been watching and just ordered a book called The Locomotion of Dogs. Yeah. And this guy did a study with 300 different dogs. Yeah. And how they move, and broke down 3D treadmills, shipped them here and there to really determine what's being utilized. Matter of fact, the extended muscles are being extended. Yeah. So the muscles that is working, for one that is laid out, it lays on the abs, right? kind of laid over the abs.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Well, the vest. Because it's creased down the back and then the weights sit on the abdomen.
Yeah. And what's cool about that is that's one thing I was going to say is that like a lot of dog, especially those who compete in the conformation circle, have noticed that, because this is very important, is that they notice a huge difference in the dog's top line. So there's stabilizer muscles, right, that are being worked because you're adding body mass and weight to every area. So that's a challenge to the dog right there alone, right? Conditioning the fixator, the muscles, the stabilizer muscles. You're improving endurance, so the heart is being conditioned.
There you go. That's one of the things you can't see, but trust me, it's there.
Your dog is now given a job, so now it's mentally being challenged. And now it's like, okay, well, I'm going to add the resistance performance parachute, right? The X-Dog performance parachute. That acts wind resistance. And then you add the drag bag, which can add drag resistance. And then you add the resistance band, which can, add elastic band resistance. And so it can be, the X-Dog vest version 3 or just about any vest that can go with all the accessories, man, it can work just about every areas and also hit unique areas that you're not going to commonly get. Like, for example, if you don't have the X-Dog vest, it's gonna be pretty challenging to improve your dog's top line. Yeah. If you don't have an X-Dog vest, it's going to be a little bit more challenging to hit certain areas of muscles, those stabilizer muscles that you normally can't hit, or even maybe they plateau. And the only way that you prevent them from plateauing is by adding more resistance, right? Like there comes a point where you can, like David Goggins can he can condition himself to do a shit ton of pull-ups, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know how many pull-ups he did, but then if you say, okay, let's add a half a pound weight vest on you, that changes the whole dynamic.
Everything.
And so
weights matter. Yep.
Hopefully that answers your question.
Ben Johnson, for those people in the Olympics, you look at Sean Crawford and all those guys who start running track in the Olympics, they start looking like football players, because Ben Johnson proved when he beat Carl Lewis that muscles move bones. When you look at the Jordan rules, I literally was watching the Detroit Pistons Bad Boys, whatchamacallit. Yeah. Jordan rules, Jordan literally said, I didn't have the strength to deal with that beating. And then, so I spent the summer building up muscle.
Well, you know what, Jordan
kicked their ass.
Yeah, you know what's unique about Jordan is that he would put in weight training on game days.
Yeah, bro, I don't know why people, for one, weight training actually releases testosterone. Testosterone in some form or fashion is a form of, it gives you energy. Yeah. So that first, like that endorphin that you have. So what does he do? He go add a little bit of weights. It's realistically only about 40 minutes of running and balling out. His muscles are activated, which means they're ready to engage. Yeah. And the communication, so people don't understand, the whole body's based on connective tissue. Yeah. And there's a miscommunication with a lot of how the body works. And that's because it's not working, which is why warm-up is so important.
And everything is, that's what I'm saying, there's so much systematic synergy amongst everything. You know what I mean?
That's where I live, so I'm like, it frustrates me at times because people don't get it. They just don't fucking get it. But I'm glad that we got a chance to kind of cover some plateaus.
So who are the two winners?
Yeah. So 2 winners is going to be _Robert Bobby _06. And the other winner is that.decoy.chick.
Congratulations to y'all, man. Mm-hmm. So, man, you got 7 days to hit us up.
7 days.
You better listen to it.
And we'll drop something to let you know, like, hey, next week's winners are in episode 55.
Oh, yeah.
Was it 55?
Yeah.
55, yep.
55.
Yep.
And again, we'll get this one up. So, good luck. Good luck, people.
Any other questions amongst the community in general that we need to answer?
Right now, I think there's going to be some more opportunities to touch base on some stuff. Yeah. If anything, they're giving us some framework to we can go in on this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's the beauty about it, man.
So, again, man, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you found some gold nuggets out of this episode. Do us a solid. Leave us a review. In fact, if we start getting some reviews in, we might, and you asked us some questions and reviews, we might start adding that into the winners contest, and so that'd be cool because we need your help. We need your support. Our goal and our mission here at X-Dog is to help dog owners extend the life of their dogs through fitness, nutrition, and education. And we're doing this for free, we're giving this away. Like, we're investing our time and energy into this. And actually, we're paying to get this done, to give out this knowledge to you. So do us a solid. Give us a review. Tell one of your friends to listen to watch one of our, our episodes on YouTube. We need your support. So thank you again for tuning in. And as always, Team X-Dog strong.